Okay, I think now it should be working. Yeah. So, I think the audio is fixed now. Hello and welcome to the stream that has been running for almost half an hour. And I've been talking to myself for all that time, apparently, because my audio is borked. I don't know why. But yeah, to everyone who just watched me the last half an hour doing stuff, hello and welcome. I've been talking about my plans with the route, about how construction has been going so far, and well, nobody heard me. It's great. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I've been talking about what I'm doing here, which is painting down painting down forest texture. Yeah. This is a bit embarrassing. Well, at least from chat activity, at least going off that, nobody's been watching me, so maybe I should stop talking about it. So if anyone asks, there's been audio the entire time, and I've been talking a lot, and it's been great. Anyways, yeah, so as you can see, I'm busy painting down some forest texture, which is maybe not the most exciting work in the world, but I thought since Eagle isn't streaming today, and watching his stream was supposed to be my entertainment, while I was doing this. So since he isn't streaming today, I'm now entertaining myself and hopefully not boring the viewers. So all of you who are watching. I don't know. Apparently, it's one person going by my counter, but I don't know if this statistics counter here is accurate. So because it's also showing a stream time of 1 minute, which is no. At least hopefully yeah. Well, anyways. So let's see. I'm not sure how far I'm gonna go. I'm probably so this street will just end in like a little circle to turn around. Then there'll be houses around, so probably this is like a safe distance to keep for the forest edge. So yeah, so down here I'm gonna go. Okay, now it's getting interesting. Do I want this little I don't know, infinity symbol. Not quite, but almost. This almost infinity symbol, or almost an 8. Um, do I want this to be surrounded by forest entirely, or do I only want the forest on one side of it? Because, you know, of course, the more forest, the less work I essentially have to do, because the forest is just painted down. But yeah, too much forest. Of course, the forest is also needed as like background so that the map isn't too boring. Um, but yeah, it's also, you know, you also want some open areas to enjoy the view, which would be greater if I had higher view distance enabled. But you know, gotta think about my FPS whilst. So, not sure. The thing is, though, that you already get a quite awesome view from here. I mean, still a bit through trees, but somewhat awesome view. So I feel more like actually let's finish this side over here first, and then I'll decide on how to continue. Okay, okay. So, decisions aren't that easy. So the thing is, actually, you're gonna have a great view regardless, because this is a pretty high bridge. So you're gonna be able to like look over the trees. So I guess I'll cover most of this in the forest texture, and then subsequently in the forest. So let's see. Of course, I want to go fairly close to the track embankment. And the same thing for this circle over here. All right. Maybe a bit closer on this side. Right. And then Here. All right, that should do it for. Well, I'm also got this side too. So same thing here, connected with this, and then yeah, this will connect this part with this part over here. And then I'll probably pull it down a bit more down here because otherwise don't know what to do with this area. So can't make everything a grassy field, and it's definitely too steep to put like anything agricultural or something or anything like that on there. So all right, and then this side, maybe get it a bit closer like this. All right, so connect it down here. And then afterwards, when we're done with this, I think it might be a good time to think about what I'm gonna put over here. Because this is supposed to be some agricultural industry, but I need to figure out some things with it, mainly which cars to use, because of course I want the industry there to be functional. So I need a car that can support the load, and the only car from the ones that I currently have installed for this gauge are narrow gauge cars that are made to put standard gauge freight cars on top, which can then have a load. And well, while do have an agricultural load available, of course, seems a bit stupid to put a standard gauge car on narrow gauge track to then use that in place of a narrow gauge only car, because what you'd be doing is taking like this car, this narrow gauge car with the standard gauge car loaded onto it, drive that over to the freight yard, where you would then only transfer the load to standard gauge, but not the actual standard gauge car, which is of course stupid. Yeah, so I need to probably search the DLS for cars that support an agricultural load. And in the end, depending on what load I find and how I set up the industry there, I'll either it will be something that can be unloaded here. Not here though, because this is for limestone, and you don't want that to mix with food, of course. So I might as well also just, make it to export through here. But it would still be great to have yeah, like a narrow gauge only car, because if I start with this standard gauge or narrow gauge car stuff, then very quickly the question will arise why there is like a transfer yard from narrow gauge to standard gauge in the first place, and why you don't just load standard gauge cars or narrow gauge cars for everything. Which is a valid argument, of course. And the answer is that placing an agricultural industry was an afterthought, and basically I made the decision to place the industry before I checked if I had suitable cars available. Yeah, so I'll need to find some cars that, one, fit the gauge, and two, have compatible couplers. Because otherwise, they need to be compatible with the locos I'm using. And if I start using two different kinds of locos for two different kinds of couplers, then yeah, stuff's gonna get messy. So maybe not do that. All right, so this is looking a lot better already. So I need to fill in this area, this one over here. Probably pull it a bit more down here, because this is supposed to be like the industrial part of the map, and the industries are only going to be adjacent to the road, and they're not going to be too large. And also probably none on like this steeper part, because buildings need to be level and stuff. So yeah. Also, don't worry if I'm switching the places where I'm actually painting the texture. I know where to paint and where not to paint, and I'll just choose whichever area looks like the most empty time, or which one's the. So I might switch around sometimes. Also need to think about what I'm gonna do over here, because this little part I have a plan for. This trench here I also have a plan for. These two hills here I do not have plans for. I might just cover them, because let's face it, they are really far away. They're only gonna be able, but you're only gonna see them from like about a kilometer away. So one baseboard is 750 meters, and this is like almost 1.5 baseboards. So, or yeah, somewhere between 2/3 and 1.5 kilometers away. So I guess I'll just cover it in first. So this little wall here, where I just lowered the terrain very low, that's because there's a tunnel inside, and the tunnel needs shadow. Yeah, the game's lighting isn't that smart when it comes to shadows. So even though the tunnel is underground, you still need terrain to block the path from the sun, or it will be lit like it's daylight, and that means there need to be these walls, because otherwise I'd have to extend the terrain by several more baseboards. And yeah, especially considering that HD terrain depending on the hardware, does have a bit mixed performance. I think like a wall like this, one, it's less work for me, and two, um, will save quite a bit of performance depending on the machine, because for some users um, the terrain, the HD terrain is like, performance wise close to identical to the regular old 10 or 5 meter grid. I personally lose like about a third in frames when you take like the same route and you convert it back and forth between rain and 5 meter grid. It's about a third of my FPS that I lose on HD terrain compared to 5 meter grid. But other people have reported losing half their FPS or more. So I'm just gonna keep the number of baseboards to minimum. And yeah, sadly, HD and old baseboards don't mix really well. At least not if you have PBR enabled, which is like the one thing that you need to have enabled for terrain to look good, to actually be worth something. So yeah. Well, this part over here, and then this part, and then this is the most. Maybe could get a bit closer here, but that's it. So this is where the agricultural industry is gonna be. This little strip of forest, I'm not sure if I want it or not, because it will be quite small, but I feel like this could add a lot. Maybe extend it a bit. But yeah, and I believe that this adds a bit more than just having this part plain grass. This part I want like a little stream that goes down to the river, so I'm not painting any forest on there. With this part from here on, like, it's getting pretty steep. I'm gonna paint cliff on here or something. Yeah. Spent pretty long to find this rich asset. The ballast doesn't match at all, and it's like open, but I didn't have any other options in terms of good looking bridges to fit over this, so it was getting kind of desperate. So this, yeah, this part I'll also need to bring in a bit closer. Again, jumping around the different parts where I'm painting the texture, also to not get bored myself, because, well, if watching this is boring already, well, at least you're hearing me talk. I need to do the boring work and talk, so yeah. I'm gonna try to get this done as fast as possible. I can move on to a bit more exciting work, and I also want to finally be done with the forest texture everywhere, so I can start painting in the permanent grass texture on the areas that I've left empty. And then, yeah, that will be a big part in getting this route to a finished state, which I'm already looking forward to. So currently the plan is to put this route on the train store. I do not have any experience with that, but it should be fine. I mean, I have bought some of the cheaper routes from the train store on sale. And well, let's just say even on sale they weren't worth their money. So and they were quite cheap. So in the end, like quality wise, yeah, considering that some of those routes were sold for like I think like $5, and they were terrible even when I got them for 50% off, so like $2.5. So I guess quality wise, at least I hope I'm gonna be above that. I think my scenery is a lot more interesting than the one on those routes. I'm not gonna say the name, but there's only so many $5 routes on the store. Yeah, from those I was very disappointed because the screenshots looked somewhat interesting, and of course, of course, you expect the route to be more than just those screenshots. And well, I mean, size-wise, they were like these routes have a decent amount of track kilometers. Also, I really hope you cannot hear the noise outside. My room gets very warm with the computer running, so I'm kind of forced to have the window open. Anyways, have a drink. Throat tends to get quite dry when talking so much. So, anyways, yeah. So, the routes were, I mean, if I remember correctly, the length was advertised on Train Store. I think it's the case for every route. But, like, length-wise, of course, they were about what I expected for the price and from what was advertised. But scenery-wise, they were well, they had some building mistakes, where apparently nobody cared to check that. So one thing that really triggers me is when 12fx grass covers track, or it shouldn't. And I know that on like older trans versions, you were restricted in the size of, or at least I believe that case, you were restricted in like the resolution of the effect layers, because like this current Trains Plus, and I believe like the current base 22 as well, supports 1.25 meter grid resolution for effect layers, which is great. But yeah, these routes certainly didn't use that, and it. I really don't like to see track covered in sort of X grass where it shouldn't be. Like if you have a small grass layer that's designed to go over the track, because the track hasn't been like mowed for quite a while, or tram track that's on grass, or it's an overgrown grass where even like large grass is growing over, then that's fine. But if it's like a busy main line where the track is in great shape and you have it partly covered in grass because the X resolution isn't large enough, that really annoys me. And it's even worse for roads because like asphalt isn't supposed to be like have like more grass than my backyard. That's not how it's supposed to be. but that's how it sometimes is. So yeah. Anyway, so I think this is about as close as I want to get to the limestone quarry. Quarry? Whatever you pronounce it. English is not my first language. So, anyways. This is about as close as I want to get to the limestone quarry because, they are like removing like rock from here. So they, of course, don't want if they like detonate something about here and explode part of the mountain. They don't want trees that are still like in the ground above to fall down. So they would have removed those prior to excavating that area. So yeah, that's what they would do, hopefully at least. Yeah. So let's see. So this is might get it. Yeah, I'm gonna put this a bit closer to the track. Actually, since this is like with the since this has the brick what is it? Embankment, the brick embankment. I'm just gonna put the forest texture grid. Get this a bit closer. So I want this to feel like you're actually going. This route is, at least scenery-wise, in large parts inspired by the Harz Mountains in Germany. Because that's the only mountains I've ever really been to myself. And they do have a narrow gauge railway there, which of course also helped inspiration. And it also happens to be like Europe's biggest spruce forest, I believe. Or it's the biggest spruce forest in somewhere, definitely in Germany, but I believe like in all of Europe. So let's really show that this is deep in the forest. Not gonna do it at the bridges though, because bridges, of course, you wouldn't have trees going all the way to the bridge. They'd be cleared out from the bridge being constructed and maintained every couple of years. Like this, yeah. This is about as close as I'd want it to be. Here. Any location where I put down a bit too much of the forest, I'll just paint that over with grass once I'm doing that. All right. Just do some more touch-ups here. All right. That should do it. So, let's see, just these two locations and then this one, bit over there, and then that would be finished. Someone outside, I don't know, driving their car like an idiot, screaming around, whatever. I don't really care as long as they don't crash into my building. And if they do, I will either care a lot or I will be too dead to care. Whichever situation I wouldn't be happy in either situation, and well, let's just hope it won't happen. All right. The thing is, I'm getting bored of painting down forest textures. So I will stop doing that now. I will continue doing this after the stream when I'm watching some Netflix show and I don't know, chatting with some friends or something and just having nothing better to do. So, there's still this thing I need to worry about. So, this is also the reason that there's an electric and a diesel loco on here is because, of course, the line here is electrified. Um, but this little thing here isn't, because, of course, if you like load like cars from the top, then overhead wires are a bit in the way. Now, I could do the same approach as Sheradice did on the Coleman Mountains Railroad, which is to just not care about it. But I don't want to do that because my catenary is already looking shit enough. Yeah, I much prefer this realistic way of a diesel loco coupling up to it, pulling it in here, then shunting around both itself and the electric loco to the other side, and then pushing it, pulling it back here, driving away back inside to the maintenance shed or something, and then the train continuing electric. But what we need are cars. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna save this, which is also always a very important thing to do. And then I will, once this is finished, it takes a while. The HD terrain is a bit, I don't know, performance hungry, especially like I don't know, saving and closing the game takes a lot of time, especially after I've done a lot of edits. um I don't know what it is. And also, like, if I were to save again after this, it wouldn't reset the time. Only after I relaunch the game, it would like reset the saving and closing time of the game to like something more reasonable. Um, I don't know what's causing that, because I've got 32 gigs of RAM. I've got a Ryzen 7 5800X 3D, which should be more than capable of processing the game and the saving of the root file. And you know, I've got the game installed on an SSD. So yeah, let's see. So closing the game now because I need to launch a different trains instance. This will now also moment. Oh, this was actually fairly quick. So let's wait a moment until it realized that it's really close. I mean, I'm not, no, I don't want to update right. I'm not in. Let's give it a moment to. Hello. Does the game or the application capture not? Maybe once I go into load, which route was it? Where's the route? This one. Route. Does it want to? No, of course not. What if I were to do this? Of course not. Can I somehow reload a source in OBS? Is that possible? I can change the source application, but it doesn't seem to work. So I guess this will have to do. So now you're just seeing my desktop. I will quickly reset the environment on this because this was not created in TRS 2019 or later. So it had the old environment controls loaded. So this is a route created by Euromodeler, I believe. And this just contains a bunch of assets. Sorry. A bunch of assets meant for use with 3 feet gauge, which is equal to 750 or 760 millimeters. Since the difference between the gauges is only like a centimeter or so, trains can run across them no issue. So yeah, we got. So I'm just here to look at different cars that would be available. So these are ones from the Bahn Molly, which is a narrow gauge railway north of Germany. These are also from the Molly. A quick look. These are more Austrian themed ones, and this is also mainly the rolling stock that I'm using. So this loco, for example, this over here is more American stuff. So yeah, over here we also got some of this is also more Eastern European, I think. I have no idea what like this. It is something German speaking because no, this is German for non-smoker, but no idea which company. Anyways, yeah. So these locomotives here, these are Eastern European something. I cannot read what's on here, so I got no idea. But yeah, these are looking decent. So these were the multiple units that I wanted to Frankenstein together. So yeah, this is just 2 times the same. These are identical. This is the one that got the diesel. Oh, okay. So this one actually, this is the configuration that I wanted to run. So electric on one side, then the middle car, and then diesel on the other side. What I'm just struggling with is the shutting off one of the locos so that you do not have the diesel engine sound under the electric wire. Code Monkey, hello. Audio late but working. Yeah, I eventually noticed that audio wasn't active. Don't ask me why. because I didn't change the settings from the last time. What ended up fixing it was going to the Windows settings and just, disassigning and reassigning the audio devices. But yeah, so these are the passenger cars that I plan on using, at least some of them. Yeah, some of these. So what I'm looking for now are cars that have compatible couplers, so this compatible enough. And let me classic surveyor for this. So I'm looking for any sort of agricultural load. So grain or, I don't know, melon, pumpkin, whatever. Let's see what this thing got available. So we got okay, we got pipes, we got wooden planks, we got wooden beams, and we got logs. And here we got pallets of cobblestone. That's not helpful. This one has coal and wood chips, sugar beets. This looks promising. So max load 5300. This looks sort of promising. Code Monkey. Touch nothing and it stopped working. That's definitely computers for you. Yeah, it's I don't know, this Windows installation is a bit borked anyway, but I'm too lazy to reinstall Windows, and as long as it generally still works, but yeah, so this one, does this one also have? This one also have. So 4600. That's interesting. The like taller car got a lower max load than the. What the heck is this? Failed to take exclusive item lock. Insufficient access. This error sounds like something that you should only see in multiplayer surveyor. Anyway, so wait, why is this empty? Oh, because I didn't hit change. So yeah, 2600 changes. Yeah, so I'd probably take it without the seat to operate the handbrake, which would be this one. So what else does this have? This is ballast. Then again, all right, so sugar beets it is. Also 4600. Or 4800 total, but yeah, this would then be what I'd be using. Not these longer ones, because I got fairly tight curve radii, so let's see. I'm gonna go back into Surveyor 2.0 and I'm gonna select an asset palette and then list a new window, and then it opens it for me in Content Manager. So select an asset palette, list a new window, and then I can just copy the KUIDs, add them to just a temporary file. So this is the one that I just copied, and then another one. All right. And then I can exit this game. Oh, yeah, you're not supposed to see this. Let's hope that the application capture works again with the other trains instance and it isn't like permanently broken. Okay, with this one it works. fine. I have nothing against that. I'm wondering why it didn't work with the other trains instance, because the window titles are identical, but whatever. And I mean, it recognized the window, it just couldn't display its content. So anyway, download station, add the filter or the AUID for search. All right. Then let's see. So this is the previous solution, which yeah, let's get rid of these. So these are cars that you can load standard gauge cars on, which is like really great, but yet this was the only like way of or only car with any agricultural load available. So let's use some proper cars now. So this was they were called, I believe. Here they are. So two of these, one of this, one of this, then three of these, and then put that one on there, and that looks a lot better already. So the train is now shorter because you do not have these absolutely gigantic coupler bars. These are no, the coupler heights. Well, I mean, I don't know. Does that match up enough? It's not, no. Okay. Well, I guess some sacrifices to realism must be made. So let's just ignore it. Because I'm already happy enough that I found suitable cars for this gauge. So now we need some sort of loader for these, and then okay, let's first figure out. Okay, so we're producing sugar beets here. I got no idea if these fields are what sugar beet fields would look like, but I'm hoping that at some point in the life cycle of sugar beets, they look like this from up top. Feel free to correct me if you got any agricultural knowledge, because I don't. So we need to figure out what to do with them. So we could theoretically reload them onto the standard gauge railway. And yes, I'm mixing Australian standard gauge with Austrian narrow gauge on one route. Call me crazy, but you know, it sort of looks good. But yeah, so we could reload these onto the standard gauge, but we do have this bulk unloader, which would work for sugar beets. But this is for limestone. And I don't know about you, but when I'm like, you know, ordering a couple tons of sugar beets to put into my food processing plant and make like human edible food out of them, I don't want bits of limestone in there. So let's not do this. And well, theoretically, we could park it up here and manually, like, have people manually grab all the sugar beets out of the cars and put them in in any large, like, hopper car for standard gauge. That also seems a bit, I don't know. I mean, it seems safer than mixing sugar beets with limestone. But I don't think that's really what what would realistically be done. So let's just go by, out of sight, out of mind, and just use this little portal that I wisely placed here a couple months ago, and just get rid of them. Which, funnily enough, wait, So this would be one of the or like the only connection where you wouldn't have to go like an extra round around here to reach your destination, because from the yard, if you want to go up this route, then you need to go out this side, do a little half circle, pass through the station, and then diverge. So you basically need to do a half circle through town. And if you want to go on this line, then you need to actually do an almost full circle through town. So this would be the only connection where you still pass through the town, but it would be a direct connection. So yeah, let's go with that. So we got sugar beets, or cars that can support sugar beets. So now we need a sugar beet loader, and let's just I do not have any assets installed that go by the name of sugar beet loader. And I'm not even sure if there are any. Let's switch to the desktop so you see what I'm doing in Content Manager. So let's see. Okay. We got a sugar beet unloader. We also got a texture. Let's support by type. Sort by type. So our harvest. So we got trucks with sugar beets. Handlers for sugar beets. Right. Got sugar beet trucks as track objects. Code Monkey. Men with shovels was definitely a common solution to loading anything. Yeah, but you said also, why are the colors? Okay. Apparently, if I'm gonna assume that the colors aren't just muted on my preview screen. Yeah, this is better. So actually, let's stay with this so you can see Content Manager. I'm sorry, I've got an HDR monitor. Anyways, so yeah, men with shovels were common for loading stuff, but this route is supposed to be set like in the early 2000s, late 90s to early 2000s. So men with shovels are kind of out of fashion. So, well, this will be helpful. This Okay, so with this, you're just spraying them down with water. And then this is a warehouse to store them in. So spline. I'm gonna try the spline. However, I'm not sure if there's just let's see what else I have installed. So let's go back to the game so that you got the correct colors on stream. So first of all, so the sugar beet pages. Okay, so I'm gonna put a few of these down. So this one, let's try the spline. Okay, so this is what sugar beets look like. All right, so the good thing is that this texture isn't far off. Does this fit with like doesn't fit to place it on top. I guess I will just go with the texture then, because I'm not gonna put down 1,000 rows of splines. That's too much work. So anyways, I'm just gonna search for loader. Got the bulk unloader. We got some sort of grain loading facility, it seems, or unloading. Since this has a grate in here and stuff, this looks more like an unloader. Yeah, these are unloaders. What is that? Whatever. Let's search for, I guess, like a grain loader. You know. I mean, in the end, as long as the industry is configurable, I can make it load whatever cargo I want it to load. Or I'll just place scenery item on top. Imagine just the singular beats just falling out of here onto the cars, which, you know, this might actually be a good way to load this, because this would be a very small farm, so they wouldn't have money for like large silos and loading facilities. So maybe like a small conveyor is the better way to. Of course, I do not have any small conveyors installed. So you're getting washed out colors again. Definitely know that there are assets in the size category that I want. This I'd like it like a movable thing like this, for example. Iron ore. I mean, with I'm gonna try these because you know, iron ore also has a brownish texture, and with resolution being what it is, you know, nobody will spot the difference. Okay, this is way too large. Yeah, way. Okay, well, I guess I'll try out. So we got this one, which, okay. This is the wrong way around, and it's way too large. Okay, this is still way too large. This would be the size that I'm going for. So actually, this is I guess I'm going with this. So yeah, you would pile up the sugar beets on here or manually pour them onto there. I mean, farm helpers are cheap, so nobody cares. And then you put them on the train, and then the train goes, and then the train goes all the way up here and follows this, and then goes through the almost 8 or almost infinity symbol. Depends on the way you're looking. And then down here, and then down here, and then through the spaghetti tunnel, and out here, through the central station, and never to be seen again. Yeah. Also, is the terrain fully loaded? It's not. There it is. Yeah, that's if you travel large portions on the map, the terrain loads not immediately at full resolution. So you see tunnels sticking through mountains, even though they shouldn't. Yeah. So, thinking right now, for something like multiplayer, because of course I want this route to be multiplayer compatible. Is there a session rule? Because I know that you can control portals through session rules. Is there a rule that makes a portal accept a train, like the fully loaded sugar beet train, and then spit it back out, like 5 or 10 minutes later, but unloaded? Because that would be really cool. I'm gonna have a look into that. If not, then I don't know. Multiplayer will be restricted gameplay wise. I don't know. Let's move these here and start with the track layout. So, first of all, we want an industry. What was it again? The multiple industry new. Is that what I used? I'll just grab the asset from here, so I know that I'm using the same everywhere. So this is like an asset palette. This is multi-int str something equal 60 meter en. Yeah. That's a very good name for an asset because it's easy to pronounce and easy to remember. So no one will have any issues with it. I hope you understand that I'm being sarcastic. So let's see how are we gonna angle this. So this and then position it. That could be a bit further. This. I don't know, the ground I can repaint, cover the ballast. Code Monkey, I thought the best solution for asset naming was raw KUIDs. I mean, if you work with, like, if you do something where you actually need to remember the KUID, even if it's just for a short amount of time, and you do it with the same asset over and over, you're gonna know those by heart eventually. Yeah. But yeah, I guess that would be even worse. Anyways, let's connect this up. Why don't you understand that I want? The game is sometimes weird. All right, let's straighten this. So we already have a track to load on. Potentially it will be better to move the entire thing further back, so we got space to move the loco stuff. So this blind point here, straighten this out. And it's actually straight. It's great. So, then let's move this a bit back so the switch looks a bit nicer. This looks like slightly different heights. Need a bit more precision. Like this should be fine. Yeah, that looks all right. Suppose. So, then we need what do we need? Actually, this switch is still. Let's put a line point here. Okay, let's put a little section in here that's straight. Then, you know what? This won't work. Let's go to Classic Surveyor. And I should just be able to grab the height of this height to here. And this height should be the same. And if I apply to this one as well, there shouldn't be any further issues. Why is it still? Oh, well, I guess because this height is different. So this just made it even worse. I mean, honestly, I don't even think I mind it this much if there's a bit of gravel sticking out on top, but it's weird then it's only on one side. So this is, I think, an indication that these are somehow not the same height. So maybe what I need to do is put down another one of these. The same height, yeah, it's better. And then I guess while we're at it, add two of these. Then is that straight? I'm not. Okay, new plan. New plan, new. This And then just straighten this one. And then just edit it with the gizmo. And this is not entirely straight, I believe. Still not straight. That's straight. So, all right. With the switch finally done. Let's see. So we got the the loading area. We got the runaround track connected to one side. So if you need to pull out of here, you can just do that. I don't think there's any issue with going out of here to like a certain point. I mean this is the mainline here is operated at a very low speed, so you don't really need to follow the safety protocols, or the safety protocols wouldn't be that strict. So you wouldn't need, or I guess maybe if I find like a derailing device for this gauge, that would work. Or actually, what I can do is I can use a derailer for just standard gauge and move it, because Surveyor 2.0 allows you to move track objects away or closer to the track center. I may just demonstrate that 1 second. Or actually, I can do it right here, because then I won't break anything, because this switch lever is missing. Okay. Even better way to demonstrate it. So, which lever? I'll just take this one. And I can move it like this, which is very stupid. I can, of course, move it this way. I can not actually rotate it, but I can lift it up, move it away from the track. So yeah, there's a lot you can. Since I'm gonna do the switch layers on the entire route same time, I'm not gonna put a new one here right now. Let's focus on the track construction first. So, we need to. Okay, so let's just go with this local configuration, because I really like it. So, what we need is when the train comes in, it's gonna be facing the other way. So the loco is gonna be behind this car, and then you have the diesel loco at the front of that, and then we need to pull the electric loco away, park it somewhere, run the diesel loco around that, and then put that on the back of the train. Cone Monkey, theoretically, you could have point levers arranged in a ground frame then. I have no idea what you're talking about. I am not an expert on switches, and I'm definitely not an expert when it comes to the English terminology, since I'm from Germany and I'm a train driver in Germany, and that's why I know the German words for everything. So, no idea what you're talking about. It's somehow related to switches and switch levers. That far I know. Anyways, so we do have still a bit of space to go out of here. Let's see. So what we will need is to delete this, to pull this out. Not like that. And why is it? Oh. Okay, let's see. Are these parallelly aligned? I have no idea. They look sort of aligned, which is good. So let's see. Let's curve this a bit and do the straight part. Then connect this one here. And then push this one inward. And connect. And re-straighten. This part is still straight. The heights are already not matching up again. So grab the height of that, apply it to the entire rest of this. Oh yeah, train too close to this, doesn't match. Oh, close enough. I mean, since these are somewhat, it's close enough. So rotate track side. Let's see. This, let's put it back a little bit. This one, put it back a lot. Somehow see, let's straighten this one, move this one back a bit, not that far. Try to get that one tie. Go, that looks about equal size and spacing, so okay. With that done, this one, great. Grab this vertex tie because I don't want to switch to Classic Surveyor again, so let's apply it like this. Which arguably I could have done the entire time. But yeah, so then extend these. Then I guess The only thing left is to connect these. If I had the track selected, because of course when you switch the surveyor mode, the game forgets everything that you were doing. So this one, connect this one. Re-straighten the splines. Move the switch so they look somewhat presentable. Why is this now happening? Oh, please don't ask me why. I've had this issue once before. I don't know why it keeps happening. Are these are all the same height? Yeah. Code Monkey, I can't find any clue to what the German equivalent would be called. Yeah. I guess then I'll just never know what you were talking about. That's not what anyways, yeah, so switches. Especially this track. Why are there double? Actually, I think if I break this in two, all right. That looks decent. Is this still straight? Guess it just looked like that because it's going down. And yeah. So we need to park two locos down here. So let's extend it like this. Or actually, let's keep the the tracks all the same length, so that in case you need to store cars here, you can do that without much issue. So let's just place these here somewhat right. So the industry configuration I will do later. I'll just configure all the industries on the route at the same time. Because who knows what stuff I decide to add last minute. So I will need to with the terrain visible, this track really looks curved, but it isn't. Yeah. Is enough for two locals? Let's test the length. So we'll go in Surveyor Classic. Couple these. All right. So does this fit onto the loading track? It does. So that's 4 small and 3 tall cars. Which I guess is a suitable amount of sugar beet to transport at once, plus 1 boxcar for any tooling that should be required or whatever. I like having one of these in here. I mean, it's, you know, since there was no caboose, you would have some car to store stuff in. I mean, usually you would use some of these if you had like dangerous goods loaded to keep distance to the locomotive. In that case, you would use one of these or a hopper or I don't know, whatever car is available currently. So then with the diesel loco, you can park it here and then let's see here. This is okay, so here I'm reaching the limit of what Classic Surveyor can do. Because that's the closest I can get to the end of the track, which I mean, this should still clear the switch. This should definitely clear the switch. I mean, in driver you can drive closer to the edge. And of course, in Surveyor 2.0, I could move these locos all the way back. In fact, I can't just move them all the way back. I can move them completely off the track. So theoretically, using Surveyor 2.0, you could use a train car as or any, you know, train rolling stock as scenery without having to put down an invisible track. Of course, if you have any session rule that checks for derailments to end the session, or you have a session rule that clears. Also, let me switch back so that you colors. Sorry about that. Or if you have any session that clears derailed trains after a certain amount of time, this is of course not the way to do scenery because that will break everything. So you will either end up with your session ending immediately because your scenery is recognized as a derailment, or you would eventually your scenery would eventually disappear because the game was like, hey, we got a derailment, let's clear that up. But yeah, it is possible. I mean, with Surveyor 2.0, you can also rotate objects that are rotation locked because they include a dig hole, for example. And if you do that, you might get the entire thing out of sync, which is what happened here. So as you can see, this like maintenance building, which includes a dig hole, is placed like rotated off the grid. But even if we were to rotate it back, yeah, you can kind of see the dig hole itself is like the dig hole is out of sync, which is normal. Because dig holes can be rotated, but if I were to rotate this thing, which I'm not going to, because it will break stuff, the dig hole would rotate or move in a way that does not fit to the asset. It's strange. Anyways, let's do the terrain so that the track isn't buried anymore. So maybe, just maybe, get the locomotives out the way. So gonna put I don't really know how I'm gonna do the rest of this. So obviously you will need some kind of little like storage for the farm vehicles and farm equipment. I guess the shunter here or the diesel can just stay here and I don't know, return to the depot in the evening or something. I think that could be like a really cool way to flesh out a scenario where you drive this shunter. So instead of just having the train arrive, Yeah, let's do the evening version. So you would have the train arrive. Then you would, or the train arrives driven by AI. So then you take the shunter, drive up to the train, couple up, pull it in here to the loading area where it will then be loaded, decouple the electric loco, run it around on this track, run the diesel around, couple everything to this side of the train, then pull it out here, decouple, go to the other track, wait till the AI has departed, and then you follow the AI as a light engine all the way up here. Then maybe you, I don't know, need to wait here, for example, because you have like a passenger train that gets priority to follow the sweet or sugar beet train. And then after they've both passed, you can follow down here through the spaghetti tunnel. Here you will land, and then down here, and then on this track, and all the way up to the depot, and then store the loco away. I think that would be like a really cool way to add variety to the scenario. So you wouldn't just have like a dull shunting task, you would also get like a light engine run in the same scenario where you need to wait for like passenger train and then the freight train that you shunted. That's gonna be cool. If I ever finish the scenery on this. I mean, honestly, I've come a pretty far way considering that this was like a try stuff out and throw it away project. Because this was literally just me trying out ways to regenerate terrain. And now, and I started with like 32 baseboards where I applied a height map to. And from there, it spiraled into this like 52 or 54 baseboard monstrosity with narrow gauge track all over the place and spaghetti tunnels that I will eventually need to do catenary in. So I don't know, not looking forward to that. Really not looking forward to that. I don't know. Maybe if I manage to bribe Eagle enough, he will do it for me. I don't know. He got way more experience with catenary, but also he uses a way more sophisticated catenary set than I do because this has to go further back. And then let's move this also so the loco still fit. This. Actually, I think I'm gonna leave the terrain like this because these tracks are quite old, so I might as well change this for like a rusty version, probably better. But yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I'll manage to bribe Eagle into doing catenary. I don't know if he's got any experience with the Woodhead set because this is a catenary set that got like the supports included in the spline, which makes laying mainline catenary easier in the first step. But when you then need to adjust the height, you can't just like move the wire in position. You need to actually have a loco underneath. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what like Eagle's price would be if I wanted him to do the catenary for me. I don't know. Maybe I'll straight up ask him how much money do you want to do the catenary on the entire route. I don't know. Because I really dislike it, and I've started with the catenary like 3 times over already. There over here. This is interesting. So this right now doesn't have any catenary in place. I had finished this entire thing here already. in a semi-realistic way with the woodhead system, but then I ripped it out for a different system that ended up not working at all. But as you can see, this bridge is very low, and it is too low for a catenary wire, but it is high enough that the loco can fit underneath it with a lowered pantograph. So I had built this out in the full way with the wire being above the track all the way until like this point, and then going off to the side with a sign to lower the pantograph and then raise it back up on the other side when the wire returned. And it looked great. And then I decided to redo the entire thing. The redo didn't work, and now I need to do it again. So yeah, and this is not even the hardest part. A lot of work will just be the height adjustments, because while this catenary is the right height at a completely flat ground, this ground isn't completely flat, and these embankments weren't generated by the computer. I handmade all the embankments on here because it just looks better. And I like that sometimes the cross ties get buried in the ground and will be buried in ballast. I really like that, but it means that I manually need to height adjust this. So, yeah, I don't know. I got a really strong incentive to let Eagle do the work for me, but I also know that he is quite busy and got better things to do. So I don't know. I will figure something out. Which will probably either end up being monetary compensation or him telling me to do my catenary myself and stop annoying him, which like would be fair. Um, but yeah, I'm at least gonna try. I'm at least gonna try. Also, Eagle, if you're watching, I would be very grateful. If you, I would be mighty grateful if you did the catenary for me, because I absolutely hate doing it. I don't know. I used to play a lot of EEP. I don't know, Code Monkey, if you saw my few EEP streams that I did in the past. But on the older EEP routes, what people would do, because catenary in that game is an even worse thing. What people would do would be they just placed supports and omitted the wire. But that was back in like 2000 and I don't know 8 or so, at the latest, when that was done. So the more modern routes usually contain full catenary, for better or for worse, because that is ring 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 ring. Hello, it's for you. It's Eagle. He's screaming. Well, I kind of expected that. Yeah. I'll see how it goes. Maybe I'm convincing enough. I don't know. Hopefully, we will see. Yeah. So, where were we? I don't know where we were. We were doing something here. I mean, the track layout is finished so far, so that's good. I will configure the industry when it is time to do so. Scenery on here, I will probably have to sleep about the design for the farm scenery. So I guess I'll do it later. So future hunts will be mighty grateful to receive all this work. But yeah, actually, while I got nothing better to do, let's finish the goddamn forest texture. so that I'm finally done with that. And I will no longer have to look at unfinished texture work, hopefully. Because once I'm done with that, I can cover the entire rest in the permanent grass texture that I'm gonna be using. And stuff like this, this will be a bit tricky because I will need to first paint down more of the gravel pattern in order to increase its size, because I'm gonna be overpainting some of it with the grass texture. Yeah, because this is where we get into the like functionality of HD terrain. Because you have basically two modes. You have HD painting and you have non-HD painting. And basically the size of your brush determines whether you will be painting in HD mode or not. So this scrapbook pattern that I'm painting down here is HD paint mode. So this is using the full HD terrain detail. If I now were to increase the radius to 20 meters and paint this down, first of all, the circle gets red, and then we get the message HD paste disabled. And you will see that this is, there are, the textures are more blended together because this is not using the HD mode. So this is basically like painting on 5-meter grid, which means that there will be no artifacts, but it also means reduced texture detail. And my headphones are running out of power, so let me quickly this my new cable is short because I need it. So I'm not gonna continue the stream for long. 1 second. All right. Well, the cable should be long enough. So yeah, what I'm gonna have to do, because the gravel pattern that I'm using is HD. So in order to not provoke any artifacts from ruining the edge, I'm gonna have to paint the grass texture in non-HD mode, which means that I need to use a fairly large brush. And that means that it's quite hard to do, to like get close to the edge of the lake, because the brush will be pretty large. So yeah, it's, I don't know. I mean, this is actually the one reason why I didn't also use a pattern for the grass, because I have created them. I have created grass patterns. And my plan was to use these, but first of all, you get the artifacts here are much more visible than they are on the forest texture. And also, blending these together would be impossible, because, or it would at the very least look shit, because I would need to blend these together with at like non-HD scale, so with a 20-meter brush, and no, just no. Not gonna do that. So let's see, how am I gonna do this? So this is the part that I got other plans for, so I guess I will actually end the forest around this line. Then overpaint the rest with the grass texture, and then the rest of the scenery can wait until I'm inspired. So that. Then this part I will just completely cover. Because 1, I'm lazy, 2, it's background, and 3, honestly, I've got enough details to do. Like parts of the route, and I did some scenes in the past already where I built at like the full detail level that I want for the majority of the route. So that will be a lot of work. I don't know. So by my current progress, which is actually a lot faster than I originally anticipated, I'm expecting the route to be finished in about 4 to 5 months. And that is if I keep my current speed of progress, which I'm not sure if I will be able to do that. I will try my best. But I mean, you know, a quite likely outcome would be that in 5 months I will have an almost finished route, with the only thing missing being the catenary. And then, yeah, I don't know. We will see what happens then. I don't know. Maybe. Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe I will learn the catenary system that Eagle uses, which is like, I think, a check system or something. First of all, I'm gonna have to try out if the height matches, because that is one that uses track objects for the supports, which is arguably the better way of doing it. But of course also the more time intensive way. Although, I mean, since I would need to manually move a loco to do the height adjustments, depends on how you see that. But yeah, I don't know, maybe Eagle can teach me how to use that system. Maybe I can figure it out on my own, or the really easiest solution, I somehow talk Eagle into doing it. I don't know. I'll try my best. Or I don't know, maybe. Oh, wait, no. I was gonna say maybe I can get Kango or Sherodice to do it, but that wouldn't work because, well, I mean, technically it would work because they got TRS 22, so they can load the route and they don't need to do height modifications. So theoretically, scenery modifications should be just fine, even on an HD route. Only got base TRS 22, so theoretically it works, but I don't know. Also, I think Kango and Sherodice really got better things to do than doing my catenary. For example, I don't know, getting enough money to buy a new computer, because that ancient thing they're using, I don't know. I'm trying not to be rude, but the streams kind of look like shit because they're so laggy. So it's really not good. Especially like the MVR streams, where the frame rate is really low sometimes. Or I think the Transport Fever streams are also like at really low FPS, which then again, Transport Fever isn't the most optimized game out there. But yeah, would still be great if the streams were a bit less laggy, and yeah, it would probably also be like, you know, less would like take less time to build a route. if you don't have to like, you know, wait so long for the, you know, for like stuff to update, because especially in like well, maybe not in root making, but in session making, with like with such a low frame rate, you're gonna really have issues with, you know, testing the session. The game's gonna run slow. You're gonna miss the platform because you can't judge the speed at low frames. So yeah. Oh, Code Monkey. I was surprised that 16-hour content verification. I'm fully on board the SSD train now. I had my last PC for 10 years with a mechanical drive for Windows. Yeah, I switched to SSD for the Windows installation many years ago. Then like 1 year or so ago, I switched to, no, actually more than that. Actually, 2 years, 3 years. 3 years ago, I switched to an NVMe SSD for my Windows installation, and then like close to a year ago or so, I switched my game drive from a mechanical drive to an SSD. So I went from a 2 terabyte hard drive to a 4 terabyte SATA SSD. And the only hard drive I currently have on in my computer is for like personal files, like photos or something, because there the speed, I mean, it does matter somewhat, but honestly, a regular hard drive is fine for what I'm using it for. So yeah, the fuck is going on out there? Well, the neighbors across the street. Some strange fellas are living there, so I don't know. They got the tendency to honk the horn a lot. You know, I mean, at least today they are doing it in the afternoon and not at like, I don't know, 1 a.m. Now that I've said it, probably tonight at 1 a.m. they're gonna honk their car's horn for whatever reason. And yes, they honk their horn at 1 a.m. for whatever reasons, I don't know. But it's annoying, but they just, I don't know, they keep doing it. I don't know. I think one of our neighbors even like threatened to beat them up if they didn't stop doing it, but they just continue. And of course, you know, if our neighbor were to go through with their threat, they'd, you know, get in trouble with the police. Yeah. Well, whatever. Actually, we got this part still to finish, and then, but yeah, back to the topic of trains. So yeah, the 16-hour database rebuild was something that shocked me too. Like, I mean, honestly, I shouldn't be shocked anymore when it comes to Sheridaz's and Kango's ancient mech, but it did shock me a bit because, like, it really shouldn't take that long. Though, on the other hand, I also don't know how much content they have installed in the trains installation, which I personally can afford to have like 5 different instances of trains. So 3 of them are Trains Plus. One is my like personal train instance where I do all kinds of stuff like signing up to the beta and installing tons of stuff from the DLS and having all my DLC installed. So that's what I mainly use to play the game. Then I got this instance that I'm using right now, which is for content creation. So here I have no DLC installed, other than the one DLC with the Australian locos. These, because this is like planned to be included in some of the sessions on this route. Like I'm gonna do like split sets, so one set of sessions with these locos, where you will need to have the DLC to play them, and then one set of them without the DLC, which is going to be the larger set. I guess it's going to be like, I don't know, maybe like 3 bonus sessions with the DLC loco. I'm gonna do. Yeah. So, but yeah, this is this instance that I'm using right now is focused on content creation, so I'm only installing DLS content that I want to use for building. So I'm not installing any routes or something. And I also only have like the DLCs installed that I need for creating content. And which currently is only one. And then I also have another trains plus instance, which is meant for multiplayer surveyor, because for some reason, at least in the past, it glitched out when setting the content packages on an MPS server, and you had a lot of DLCs installed. So to circumvent that, that instance has a limited number of DLCs installed, only the ones that I want to use in multiplayer surveyor. And then the other two are just a regular TRS-22 and TRS-19 instance that I'm using for multiplayer, for classic multiplayer with other people who may not have Trains Plus. Yeah, so that's the instances that I have installed. Yeah, it is a lot, and I don't know, maybe it sounds unnecessary, but it really helps to keep stuff separated, especially when like when building the route here. It's really handy to know that I cannot accidentally put down payware content because I do not have it installed. And this was also what I used to clean the root of any payware content that was there. Because when I started this project, I didn't know what I was gonna do with it, so I just did it in my main trains instance. And while that worked fine, I just built without a care in the world. And then eventually I realized that, yeah, if I want to publish this thing, I maybe should clean up the DLC assets. And the easiest way for me to do that was just export it using export the root using Content Manager, import it into a fresh trains instance with no DLCs installed, and then just download all missing dependencies from the DLS that I could, and the rest, I just hit the delete button. All right, let's see. So okay, so this is the road tunnel that will be here at some point. I'll just paint over it. I don't care. Actually, is this? I'll just put forest over the entire thing. Cover it all in forest, maybe add some rocks or something that are sticking out. This will save me a lot of work. But yeah, so I don't know how far is the stream. Oh my, over 2 hours now. All right, so since later there's the Minecraft stream with Kango and Sharadas coming up, which will hopefully work because I think their internet connection is acting up today. So yeah, since that is coming up, I will probably end the stream in a moment, just to, you know, give my voice some time to regenerate, and watch some Netflix before the Minecraft session starts. I'm probably not gonna stream the Minecraft session, because I need to get up fairly early tomorrow, so I also probably won't be there till the end. But that is, you will see all of that on, I think, Sheridaz's channel. Sheridaz will stream. I believe Sheridaz will stream. That's also something, since Sheridaz and Kango are now only participating on the Minecraft stream once a week. And it's always Sheridaz who's playing. Like, Kango doesn't get to play right now at all. Because, of course, if they share a computer, they can't play at the same time. So, yeah. Anyways, with only this little bit over here to finish, and maybe this up here, so most of this finished. I guess this is a good note to end the stream on. So I hope you enjoyed. And I hope I didn't bore you too much. And yeah, I hope that the route will come along as fast as it has in the last few weeks, and that I will be able to reach my goal of releasing this to the train store, hopefully. Anyways, regardless of that, I hope that the route will turn out to my expectations. And, well, hope you had fun, and see you soon.